podcast. We are here with Justine Magic Bean, expert community builder, love, intimacy, and sex expert, and tech advisor, NYC New Yorker, stealth mode startup growing. Justine, welcome.
Thank you. And former maritime archaeologist, side note. It's been a
May
long, beautiful life.
Wow. So I'm excited to dive in with you because when we first met in Morocco at Experience House, you shared with me some ideas about relationships that I had never heard of, relationship
Mm,
types and formats and different promises and different kind of commitments to different people. And it's not necessarily polyamory or monogamy, or maybe it doesn't even have a label, but what to me it represented was this level of creativity about how
mm.
you can create family and relationships and community. Then I go on to learn that you are a community builder. So where do we begin? Let's begin with what is community?
Oh, that's a great question. For me, I think I've actually been learning that it means something a little bit different than maybe to others. And I was actually in a really beautiful community builder support forum at an experience 2 weekends ago, which I thought it was a funny way of framing it because it's such a thankless job. I feel like I've done my job the best when no one knows that I've done anything because it just like everything is teed up for the people who need to be supported really publicly, have what what they need. And then I'm just in the background, kind of like clapping from behind the scenes. But so there's like little community, like little C, medium C, and big C. And little C is when people are like, oh, my community, like they're close friends, like the people they would share everything with. Like medium C is maybe like, you're in a co-living situation and it's like they're, this kind of like more expanded version, but not just like your core homies. And then big C is like a product or a service, which is like, who are our community? We're building this product or this service to connect with these people, and we want to make it really relevant for them in a way that feels really generative. And so those are kind of the levels that I've been experiencing lately. And for me, true community is built by like a shared moment, usually a fast forming moment of shared joy and or trauma, sometimes both at the same time. Burning Man is a great example. Natural, like people who form after communities who form a lot of tight closeness after a natural disaster is a really good one because they just went through something so life changing that they have to feel close and they rely on each other. Those are kind of like more quick, so clear community. And then now what you're finding with it's kind of a greenwash term actually, community. We have a community, Coca-Cola, we have a community, Nike, we have a community. That's an audience. Those are your fan bases, right? A real community are the standout super users or the evangelists of your product, not the person who is just like receiving your product, but it's how can I, as the company, create here's the product, here's you, Majeed, here's your friend, here's your, or the person you don't know yet, and another person you don't yet know yet. You get our product, and then I create a bi-directional way of receiving value between all of the members that sometime they don't need me anymore and they form their own relationships. And then that sort of product relationship with you becomes so extra valuable because you got the first need met and then maybe a second and a third need. And so for me, that's actually from where I'm sitting in tech, the actually most salient way of building community, finding other needs that are reasonable to meet for person that were so unexpected that they're like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Okay, cool. So little C, community, family, and friends. Big
Yeah.
C, scaling. And we got
Hmm.
companies now calling things that are communities when really they're just
Sure.
audiences.
Yes.
And what you're describing, a design for community, is where people can communicate and exchange value with each other in a way that happens without you.
Yes.
And
But
you were
you
saying
created it
meeting
for
the
them.
first need. Yeah, you built the structure. You said it meets the first need and then it meets the second need. Can you talk about like what do you mean when you say exchanging value and meeting needs? Like what kind of needs and what's the first need and what's the second need?
Sure, absolutely. So from let's just call it a product. So if Majid has a product has a need, let's say the universal pain point of I want love, right? Like I want to find someone to meet, and there's a dating app. The dating app provides a service. we're going to find you your person potentially. And so if you find a relationship from that service, you're like, wow, that need was met. I feel so excited about this. But if that product can also create experiences around just the sort of one directional app experience, you meet people in person, you met maybe your next business partner, maybe you met some best friends. Like those are other needs that you might have had as a person that we have then contributed to and created an extra set of value for you. And so then you're more likely to become an evangelist and part of that community because you feel like you have ownership in it, you've met some friends through it, you want to bring more people into the fold. And that's the kind of like word of mouth marketing or organic community growth that's super valuable from a product or a service perspective. Does that make sense?
Yes. So people come for the one need and then they have get more. They came
Yeah, they
for a
get so
date,
much more.
uh, you know, dates or to find their girlfriend or partner, and then they find a sense of belonging, a sense of ownership,
Mhm.
friends.
I have a great example actually to share. One of my favorite communities is Daybreaker, if you're familiar with it. It's the OG Sober Sunrise Dance Party, founded by
Yeah.
some friends of mine
Yes.
12 years ago. And somehow they managed to convince people to wake up at before sunrise at like 5, not even at 5. They get there at 5, dance their face off until about 9 a.m., and then go to work. And they've got dressed up, they've covered in glitter, they're having so much joy and excitement. And why did they never spend one dime on marketing in all these years? Because they're providing not only an outlet for dance, which is like the initial pull of like, wow, I want some movement in my life. But when they get there, people are volunteering, they're giving hugs, they're meeting new friends, they're creating this feeling of joy and exuberance that they don't get in most other parts of their life. Like it's giving them so much more value besides that initial pain point, which is like, I want to move my body or I like to dance, right? And so then they just continue to bring more friends and convince them to come into the fold and volunteer more. And they keep growing into other cities. And, they've toured all over the world, right? It's such a beautiful model for organic community growth because they
Mm,
don't have to convince anyone. They provide so much value just by bringing like something that people don't get anywhere else. It's very
mm.
admirable.
So it's like a product is so good or an experience is so good, people want to talk about it and they
Yeah,
feel a deeper connection to the product, the service, the company than, say, just a regular product that solves a problem.
right.
For me, I remember there was a book called The Cult of Mac. And there was this guy with a shaved Apple logo in his head on the cover of the book.
Hmm.
And I didn't read the book, but I know like when I grew up, there was like you either have a PC or a Mac, and there was a little bit of a philosophical war, and you're either with us or you're in the other group. And I don't know if I ever officially joined the community, but I was definitely an Apple fan. There's
Yes.
fans, there's follower, there's audience. I mean, I watch the keynotes like it's the Super Bowl, those annual.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was part of that too for a long time. One of
Yeah.
the pieces I didn't mention earlier when you asked me about like define community is it's also about a value system, whether it's explicit or implicit, right? Like for Apple, you know, the level of innovation and creativity that you didn't get for sure at the time when being a Mac bot was like a truly a thing, myself included, that you didn't have that in other tech companies, right? Like you felt like you could express that you had ownership. They had all these community forums on their support network. The Apple stores were a place for hanging out. Like I worked at Apple actually for 4 years. Another fun fact at their
Mhm.
retail store
Cool.
in Soho and in DC. And it really was like a gathering hole for people who were Apple fans. And so they inadvertently created this experience for people who had the same value system, right?
Yes.
Um,
So they have something that not everybody has, which is a place. And the place and the space has all of their values baked into all of the design decisions of the space.
mhm.
So I'm really excited to just share with our audience and invite you to share what you can about this new company called Overtone. The founder of Hinge starts a new dating app, and you're building the community. There's a new press
Yes,
release as of yesterday, so it's all very fresh. What is
very
Overtone?
fresh. Yes, we are not a dating app.
Okay.
We're distinctly a modern matchmaking agency. And so the idea is going back to sort of the OG, the oldest profession in the book really is matchmaking. And so, how do you build that in a way that enables the masses to experience something that is traditionally out of pocket for most people, right? It's like multi thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars to hire a matchmaker, whether they guarantee you a relationship or not. And that is not to in any way disparage their profession because they are so talented and they put so much love and care. I know plenty of matchmakers that just like are so in this field for because they love so much. And it's still really hard to find someone, quote unquote, their person. And so for us, we're going to be using AI enabled technology and the backing of relationship science to support, this experience. And for me, my role of community is building as many human touch points and make it feel as concierge service like as possible in a way that you're still like, wow, I feel like there are really humans who care behind this.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now, is that in sort of like events and gatherings, or is that through like phone calls and video calls through like to create those touch points?
Great question. It's all of the above. Right now, I'm building our founding community here in New York. That's where we're launching first. And it's anything from bringing in people who are interested. Right now, we're mostly talking to friends and family and sort of personal referrals to bring into the founding community and bringing them into the office and sharing a meal with them, bringing them in for feedback, sending people some custom swag when they stand out because they constantly refer people, building experiences as soon as we're allowed to bring people into the same room to gather to create more friendships because a lot of people, again, unfortunately the bar is pretty low with dating apps, right? And so people are like, I just want to meet people whether it's my person or not. Like I just want to meet, interesting people that you think are relevant and you've done some vetting. And so how can I make something that feels so extraordinary that they're like, I'm going to spend my Friday night doing this with you guys, and make it really valuable to them that they in turn will be like, you know what, for the next one, I'm going to bring five more of my friends because I'm getting something here that I can't get anywhere else and I want them to
Mm,
experience it. And so that's where my focus is like a lot of human care.
very cool. Hmm. So you're a world traveling digital nomad. Sometimes she's on a boat, sometimes she's in
A
Morocco,
lot of
sometimes she's in
boats.
California, and yet you're a community builder. So I heard you were the mayor of Venice Beach at one point, unofficial.
Yes, my welcome
So
basket.
what's
Yes.
your MO? Do you host dinners? Do you throw parties? Do you walk around shaking hands? Or what's your like approach to building community? And why do you think you're so good at it?
Mm, I think that's why I was sharing like what I've been realizing lately. I've been in a lot of spaces with some very talented other community builders recently as I've come back to the city. And, again, I'm finding myself in like ones who are in product and tech and more in that sort of SaaS-based world. And I'm like, oh, it's so interesting. Like they have such a specific set of community building roles that I actually don't think that I'm like in coherence with in a lot of ways. Um, and that's not to say any way is better. I just think I have a different flavor to it, which is only just becoming relevant or like something I'm realizing right now. And so I really think that doing the unscalable things as often as possible is part of my MO. Caring about the whole person and not just again like the thing you're trying to get them to do is really important. And also giving for first as often as possible before asking for something back. So like leading with gratitude, right? And generosity. Those are, I would say, like my principles. Um, you know, so many of the experiences that I create, like even at a micro level, are like WhatsApp groups. Like I admin over 150 of them, and some of them become full-time jobs depending on the time of year because of different events that are going on. And people are like, "How do you do that? Like you're so diligent about messaging people back." And the answer is like, it is actually exhausting, but the reward, the ROI is so worth it because how many times people have messaged me, and I feel so grateful to have earned this respect and trust of like your community has changed my life or like being in something that you've created. Like I feel so much belonging, or I wouldn't be at this thing, I wouldn't be in this part of my life if it hadn't been for something that you'd helped create and brought me into. And that makes it worth it. Doing all those moments that like, you don't necessarily want to be doing at 10 o'clock at night, but it's helping change someone's life, or could be.
So there's a lot of individual touch points where you're really caring about the person and less, not to say none, but less message blasts, like, hey guys, everybody blasts. You've got a
Hmm.
lot of WhatsApp chats going.
Yes.
I realized recently that you can basically map someone's social world by looking at their group chats.
Yes.
You got a family group
It's not
chat.
easy to do, but yes.
Yours is going to be a wild, sparkly web. But
Hmm.
most people, I got a siblings group chat with my brother and sister. I got a roommates group chat. I got a, uh, boys, dudes group, hangout group. Not 150. It's probably more
Sure.
like 10 or
Yeah.
15. But that's where the communities live. Then, of
Yeah.
course, you got your Facebook groups and you got your LinkedIn groups and you got all these other things that you
Of
might be grouped.
course.
There might be hundreds of them.
Yeah, I just mentioned one platform, but yes, there are
Yeah.
so many others. And those are just the ones that I'm adminning. That's not how many I'm in and being part of another community. So it's
So,
definitely time consuming experience.
are we approaching this like peak community where someone's going to have 1,000 communities, which means they're actually not really in any? And we also have
Mm,
coinciding loneliness epidemic
definitely
with
have
the average
that.
person having 0.43 friends.
From this big.
You make friends
Yes.
where you go. For some reason, I feel like I want to know, like, what's your milestones for relationships? Like, we meet, we get to know each other's names, we're going to exchange contact information. You're probably pretty
Hmm.
organized with that. There's a follow-up text. There's a maybe invite you to the next thing. Maybe we get a tease sometime. Then we're somehow you're like like you moving them into the circle.
Yeah,
What are the steps?
that's a good question. Um, I think part of it is my philosophy on unconditional love, actually. I think
Mm,
this really plays into it. Whenever I meet someone new, and this is why small talk is really hard, besides my neurospicy brain, it's so much more important for me to lock onto a piece of someone's vulnerability or authenticity that they're sharing with me. And that for me is the piece of like, oh, here's their heart. I can see it so clearly. And so my heart is like, oh, that's the part I'm always going to grab onto, and that will never go away. And then every time we speak or interact, you will start to share more from your heart. And those are the parts that keep and continue to grow. And so my experience is people have reflected this to me that they feel that when we're interacting in some way. Um, and life hack, I use Siri as one of my personal assistant. Like, let's just say, you're like, oh, my kid's birthday is here and I'm having a party or something. And I'm like, okay, remind me on this date to message Majeed, happy birthday for his kid and to send a little present, like that's something I do all the time because I actually can't store it all up here. I wish I could say that I did, but we have a lot of really important tools that can help us, still be really a lot better friends. Um, and so that's one of the ways that I do that. And, I'm also not one of those people, and I've certainly had moments of this where, I often hear like, well, but I'm the only one putting in the effort. Or like, if I didn't reach out, no one would reach out. One, that's like something you've trained your friends to do. So like there's a lot of onus on the person. We train roles around each other. And so one person stops doing it, the other person doesn't even know how to react sometimes because it wasn't a discussion. But I find it actually an honor to be an instigator or, a corral person, right? Like people who are roping in others because it's not everybody's skill set necessarily or something that has to be learned. And I will say, this is all really relevant to me because for the large majority of the 38 years of my life, I did not ever feel like I truly belonged. Like I didn't have a lot of friends. I grew up with like one best friend like through middle school, and then one best friend in high school who decided she didn't want to be my friend anymore without telling me why to this day. And it was really painful. And so I learned to be throughout that experience, to be with, friends with like as many people as I could because I only was really close to one, And so like you're right. You're like, am I just friends with nobody if I'm just always at the top? Um, and so only in the last 10 years have I felt what I would describe as the word is like feeling seen and like feeling like I really belong. And for me, that original entree point was something called Many Club, which, I will again auto enroll as many people into the experience. It doesn't exist anymore, but it was so important for gathering 200 people once a month just to meditate. But it wasn't about meditating. Like that was the initial entree point. We got so much community. We gathered without alcohol as the reason for gathering, which was for me the first time I'd ever experienced that. Like I never really drank. And so I was like, wow, these people really want to just know me. This is crazy. Like I didn't know what to do with it at the time, and I had none of the tools that I do now. But I also know that I wanted it so bad. And so I've spent the last decade of my life learning how to be a better friend and to be a community builder and a leader and have earned that respect. Like I didn't start with it for sure. So it
Wow.
can be earned with like a lot of hard work. It takes one to be one, right? As they say, like it takes a friend to be a friend. But I also think people are at a disadvantage because all of society, I don't think it matters what country you're in, teaches you that romantic relationships are like the be all and end all relationship of your life, right? And they there's all these tools and coaching and all this thing about how to do that better, have a better relationship in that way, that channel, but not necessarily how to be a better friend or how to end a friendship or when a friendship ends, how do you deal with that type of relationship? Um, I don't even use the word breakup anymore. It's a relationship for me.
You
Um,
call it relation shift?
yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Great.
You
Okay,
and I
so
love
what I
words,
heard,
so I thought you'd
I
like
know
that.
I do love words, and I do think breakup is charged with
It
sadness.
is
Um,
totally.
I like relation shift.
Yeah.
So what I heard is you're the girl that went from one friend to friends around the world to seen by so many as the life-changing leader of communities to now working with one of the up-and-coming companies building a community from the ground up of founding members starting in the heart of New York.
Well, when
Um,
you say it like
and
that, Majeed.
and the simple, profound truth of, well, I just look for their heart and I open mine and I seek their vulnerability because that seems like your genuine desire and curiosity is to see someone's true self, vulnerable self, authentic self, heart. Hmm.
I would add, as part of that, thank you for that reflection. I'm also never entering a room now. I absolutely used to do this. It's a very normal thing to do, but I'm not entering a room seeing who can help me. And now I frame it instead as who can I help, right? we always we're trained to walk into a room like this person could be my person. I would want to date this person. This looks like they might have a lot of money, or this, and this could be my next business partner or whatever, or I want a job versus like who in this room might need some support or whose life could I change in this room? Who could change my life, right? Like that's a completely different frame than like I need this thing, right? It's like that give first mentality.
Yeah.
And so getting to the root of that, like in every room I meet, hopefully, again, lifelong practice. I am absolutely not perfect at it. Be fully clear. But that's generally the awareness that I have now.
Hmm. Great. How do you design an experience that's conducive to connection, love,
Mm.
um, helping people feel safe? What are some of the ingredients that you look for? What do you look for in a space? How do you curate it? Who's invited? Who's not invited? What are the ground rules? What are the colors? What are the sounds?
So specific. Great question. I mean, it's obviously a little bit different for everybody. And I would say it's funny. My immediate reaction is what it's not. Like there's so many spaces that don't optimize for connection that have the ability to do so. And it's actually always kind of mind-boggling to me that people don't, like in architecture, interior design, don't like frame for that ability, like a social networking place, like a co-working Soho house, great example. Like everything is like cushy enough, but nothing, like they're not framing furniture and seating arrangements to like have actual conversations. I remember when I was a member at Noya House, so an easy way to do this would have been like if you're in an area with a blue couch, for example, like it means you want to connect. If it's one with a red couch, again, simplifying it, but like don't talk to me, I'm doing work. Because like so many people wanted to talk to each other but didn't know that they had permission to do so. And so there's a way, other ways like to build experience design around connection into just physical space besides just like the experience itself. Even just walking around, I didn't wear it for this, but I have a pin that says ask me about love that I wear almost everywhere. And so part
Whoa.
of it,
And what
yeah,
happens to a pin like that?
people want a lower barrier to entry to talk to people. Again, to your point of loneliness epidemic, something about your outfit or your hair or your energy, they find permission to speak and then they have a real reason to do so. That's why on a date, a lot of dating coaches will say, like, wear something that kind of stands out a bit so that your date will have something to comment on. Or like if you go out to a bar, um like if someone comes up to you, they have like something tangible to comment on. And so I find the same thing with the pin. It's like ask me about love. Part of it is related to my work at Overtone, and if you're someone I
Mm,
think would be interesting for what we're building, um I want to talk to you, and I want to give you a reason to feel like there's some synergy here, because I have so many other thoughts that I start off with love. It's my dharma. Sharing it with
mm,
the world and creating it is something I witnessed or experienced the process of witnessing the passing of life, and it changed my entire trajectory. So
mm.
I have a lot to say about it. I want people to ask me about it.
Well, I want to ask you about love.
Great.
What is love?
What is love? Wow, the ultimate question, Majid. um It's funny because the language that we have, speaking about word choice, we have one word for love. The Greeks have 8 words. There's probably other languages that have other words that describe it, but one word to say, I love a cheeseburger. I love my cat. I love my child that came out of me. I love my husband, the love of my life. I love my parent. Uh, all of those things have the same word attached to it. And all of them mean so many different ways of love. Um, I have a friend who my friend Andrew, who shares, instead of saying I love you, like I love you, Majeed, say I love you because when I see you running a room, the confidence that you have, it just gives me the feeling of I feel so proud of you. Like
Mm.
your smile lights up a room. So I love you because it's like a very specific thing. It feels a little awkward sometimes to say it first, but it lands in such a different way because it's so specific, right?
Well, I love you is a bold enough statement, and it's often like said with a little expectation of a you're gonna say love me too back, but the I love you because is just like pure appreciation.
Right. Exactly.
Uh,
I was just watching one of my favorite YouTube videos. It's this rabbi, and he's talking about fish love. And it's like the story of like the guy's like, oh, like you're cooking a fish. Like, why are you cooking the fish? And the guy's like, I love fish, so I'm gonna eat the fish. He's like, you love the fish. You took the fish out of the water and you cooked it, you killed it, and now you're eating the fish. He's like, yeah, because I love fish. And so the fish love is like, I love you because you can give me something back,
mm,
right? Versus like a pure unconditional love, which is
yeah.
I love you regardless. I love you because, right? And I don't need anything from you back, actually. Like that's the purest love. And that is something I will continue to learn for the rest of my life how to do.
Mm.
That is actually my dharmic journey. And it's so much more powerful to frame it that way. One of the books that I read constantly, a couple times a year, is Thich Nhat Hanh's How to Love. I learned so much from it every single time. But like what it ultimately comes back to is like, I can't even love you properly. I can't even love you for real, rather, unless I know you're suffering. And so share with me how you need to be loved. Because I can't love you without knowing, right?
I can't
There's
love you
just
unless I know you're suffering or like what causes your
unless
suffering.
yes, what causes your suffering?
Okay, I got
Like,
you.
how can I love you in a way that you need to be loved, right? Um, and that, at its purest form. Because I'm like,
Well,
I want to love you this way. And you're like, that's not, and that's how there's so much like disconnect in partnerships and friendship. And you're like, but I'm just doing this because it's for the best. I just love you. And you're like, fuck, there's so much disconnect in there versus like asking, hey, I love you and I want to know how I can love you the best that you
mm,
in the way that you need to be loved. Right.
mhm.
The example in the book is a father and a son. And the father's like, I'm going to make all this money because I need to provide for my son so he knows that I love him. And the son is like, I just want to spend time with my dad, you know? And they're at this disconnect constantly because one wants to be loved this way and one wants it to show it in a different way. Right. And so, yeah, I think it's a fascinating framework.
Mhm. Well, I love you because you're brilliant and creative and present and curious. I love you because you taught me different ways to be in relationships with different people that expanded my belief about what's possible in relationship. And I just want to touch on that.
Sure.
Uh, you mentioned you have like a friend wife and you
A
got
life wife.
married, a life wife, and you got married maybe on the playa of
Not
Burning
yet.
Man.
We are
Or
engaged.
okay, you're
Yeah,
engaged. So there's
we're
engaged and
engaged.
married. And what does
Yes.
that mean? And what other forms of relationships exist that maybe some people haven't heard of? So life wife, what's a life wife?
Yes. It's actually not even an accurate way of describing what a life wife is, but the way that we say it is a non-romantic life partner. So someone is going to be there with you on your deathbed that's not, the person necessarily that you're going to file taxes with, which is how I would unceremoniously define like your romantic life partner, because so much of my relationship with her is romantic. And some, we go on dates and we have rituals together and all the parts that, a traditional romantic relationship might have, but we're not necessarily waking up in bed every morning together, but we will help each other raise kids together, even though they're not officially ours together, but like we'll be shared family units, right? Um, and so there really isn't a great framework. And I think one of the beautiful gifts of this life is realizing we get to be the creators of our own reality and change these paradigms that we've bought into for so long, you know. Um, like how amazing. It's not just, in this case, my life wife, but I have several other friends that I have exchanged rings with and proposals, and we've decided to commit life together in a really platonic way. And most people would never even think of doing that. And I feel so grateful to have discovered, like other ways to express love and commitment, really, you know, in so
You're
many ways, people are,
expressing love and commitment in ways that don't traditionally exist in a drop-down menu of relationship status.
correct,
And
correct.
you've given it a name,
Seeing,
life wife.
yeah, seeing the drop down menu, like for, whatever on anything, and it's like single, widowed, married, divorced. I'm like, this is not the whole spectrum here. Like, technically single, yes, but actually available is more relevant to me versus single, because single can mean a lot of things. Like, I'm single by choice, I'm single by not by choice, I'm celibate, or I'm single but not really available for anything but casual dating. Like, it can mean a spectrum, but I'm available is for me, at least in this moment, like I am available for cosmic romantic love. And I'm also deeply in love with so many people in my life. I've already discovered at least four soulmates in this life that I have. Um, and I find the term of the one a bit problematic. One, because it feels really reductive to think that there's only one person in 8 billion people that you can be, romantically inclined towards creating whatever kind of life together that you want. But for and, um, you know, there's so many people that I want to share life with. I'm my person first and foremost. And I have a lot of persons,
Yeah.
how fucking awesome that is. I do not take that for granted at all.
Well, these ideas have opened my mind to um, seeing more than one slot in my relationship availabilities and in different capacities of being able to declare commitments. Because, yeah, you have these very defined stages of a typical relationship. You know, we're talking, we're dating, we're in a relationship, we're engaged, we're married, we're divorced, we're whatever. But we don't really have that so much in non-romantic relationships or in friend relationships where we
Right.
want to take to a new level of commitment.
Totally. What does that mean for most people?
Hmm.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, there
Well,
really isn't a roadmap for like friendship relationship milestones, right? Like the levels of commitment that you
yeah,
might be. And then when
yeah.
so much of I read advice columns every morning for the last like 15 years. It's a weird habit that I have, I guess, to keep a pulse on like kind of what's happening in the world and in a different way. And so much of the advice now is like, oh, your friend is doing this, like after 20 years, just slowly fade out, just cut them out. And I'm like, what kind of friend is that? If you've loved this person for 20 fucking years and you're just gonna fade out of their life, that's bananas to me. But that's advice. Like when you exchange the words I love you or you have love for somebody else, regardless of whether it's one directional or not, I believe it enters you into a different type of dimensional contract, frankly, where you owe it to them and yourself to be like, hey, this is what's happening. You can't control how anyone receives it, but you can certainly control your integrity in the scenario.
Hmm.
And so, we're taught to like formally break up or, in my word, relationship from a romantic relationship, but no one has a clue, uh, you know, for all the reasons, how to do that with other types of relationships.
Yeah, it's been a question on my mind at one point in my life as well. Um, Okay, I'm mindful of the time. We have a few minutes left, and I've been excited to ask you about your experience of improving your communication presentation skills. We had the pleasure of working
Yes.
together when you became a hotshot executive at a fast-growing tech company, and you came to me and said, I want to get really good at presentations. Tell me about the challenges you had before working with me and what it was like going through the process of improving your presentations and what sort of results you've seen.
Absolutely. Yes, you were the first person, actually, fun fact, who taught me how important words are and language. And I felt so out of my depth when I joined this team, even though I had years of experience in my field of genius. I didn't know how to speak their language. And I came to you and I said, help me understand, help me activate, help me level up, because I want them to not only understand what, like that I know what I'm talking about, but also be able to like be an active part of the conversation intelligently. And so I was so grateful for our time together because, it spanned, I think, over maybe like 8 months or so when we did it, right? And I just wanted my team to know to like see the reflection of the confidence that I have inside when I was giving them because we were remote all the time. And so it always felt like I was giving a presentation even when I wasn't officially because the camera would be on me. And so it was something that I had to deal with on a daily basis almost. And I really felt that my confidence, the sword is not the right word because it felt really like deliberate and incremental in a way that like was really built. Yeah, it was my confidence was building confidence in myself. I don't know how else to say it. And
To know
now,
you're
now that I'm
confident. How do you know you're confident versus not confident? What are the signs that tell you that you're at different levels of confidence?
mm, I think for me, I think there's different levels in how people express confidence, right? I was actually just talking about this with a team member the other day. Like I feel very confident in my work product. And when I'm out in the world doing my thing, it is very obvious that I know what I'm doing. And sometimes people have different skill sets because public speaking can be a really big challenge. Like, I don't like public speaking. I do it because it's an edge. And I asked you to help me get better at it because I found myself wanting to become more of a thought leader in my space, wanting to impress my team and to feel like I could really roll in those spaces. Right. Um, Not everybody needs to do that necessarily, but and they can still just have the first layer and that should technically be enough, right? Like if you're doing what you need to do and like everything's getting done, that's its own gift. And I'm not in this life to be comfortable necessarily. I'm here for a lot of pleasure in my life, but not necessarily comfort all the time. And so that feels like a continual edge to continue to grow. And so we talked a little bit about this before, but I'm interested in starting a communication channel of some kind to share some of this wisdom and knowledge that I've accrued over the last 15 years of growth and both in community and in love and all the sort of parts that go with that. And that still feels really nerve-wracking, to be totally honest. And I feel like I have a foundation because of the work that we have done and the continued spaces I put myself in that make me feel uncomfortable. So,
Well, I'm looking forward for you to answer the call to start to impart your wisdom one short little video at a time. And I heard the term heart scholar for you.
yes,
So where can we
yes.
send people right now that want to connect with you and follow your journey and learn more from you?
Great question. I would say you can find me both on LinkedIn, Justine Benanti, and on Instagram, Justine Magic Bean, and on TikTok, soon to come at the Heart Scholar.
All right, it's official. It's coming up. The Heart
It's
Scholar at
coming.
TikTok.
This is actually great because now I'm accountable.
There you go. Justine Magic Bean, confident communicator, community builder, wife, Wonder Woman,
Wife of Life. That's a great one. I love that,
the
actually.
wife of life. I love it. Thank you for
Yes.
taking the time for being on the Expert Speaker Podcast.
Thanks, Majeed. Love you.
Love you too. Because that was a
Because you're so
that,
fucking
that was
great.
a great podcast episode. Thank you.